Hello. I've been playing around a little bit with my synthesizer and trying out different sound designs. I've created this instrument called repeated, and it's a repeated note. They're all half a beat note, and I believe there's 20 of them. And if I look at the sound design over here, things look a little complicated. However, if you bear with me for a moment here, the instrument repeated, which is that repeated note, is turned on, but the other ones are turned off, so they don't come into play at all. The wave is a wavetable that I talked about in the previous video. So it goes between these two waves, and the percentage of going between these two waves is controlled by this selector, which is a little bit like a mixer. Actually, it's a whole lot like a mixer, except you pick one or the other, so it's like a radio button. So I can pick that one or this one. And this control, well, it's a percentage, and you can see the wave being controlled by the control. So I can go from the sine wave or go to 100% of this wave. Looks like this. And by the way, I may not have explained that very well in the previous video, but if I put this, let's say, at 50% or so, it means that the volume at each point in time is 50% of this one and 50% of this one. So it's kind of in between this one and this one for each time. Okay, so that's how it's calculated, as a percentage of the transition from one wave to another. So here it is. Let me leave it at 0. And I also have a frequency modulation here of 48 semitones, so 4 octaves, controlled by this other mixer, and right now it's set as 0%, so doesn't do anything. This table modulator is also at 0%, so it doesn't do anything, it's fixed. And if I play it, it basically repeats the note. Very simple sine wave, and I have my envelope down here. Pretty standard stuff. Now, what I can do is have this wave at a 10 beat cycle. What does that mean? If you notice, it's a sine wave. Let me go back to this piano roll, and if I count 10 beats, this is beat number 10 here. So what it will do is do a 10 beat wave. So the wave comes in, goes up, down, and up again. So it's one wave, one of those waves in 10 beats. So it's a 10 beat cycle. Let me turn this on full blast. Sorry, let's not. Let's do it at around, I don't know, 30% or so. Quarter. So that means it will do 1 octave, quarter of the 48, and it will modulate it over 10 beats. Let's try that. So as you could hopefully tell, it went up for the first 2.5 beat, down for the next 5, and then up again the next 2.5 beat, and it did that twice, since I have a total of 20 notes in 20 beats. So if I change this to much higher, like 75, it's going to go way up in tone. so very flexible, and you can do all kinds of cool stuff. Oh, I should have mentioned this oscillator type is beats per minute, so it is based on the metronome up here, 120 beats per minute. So if I speed up the music, it will also speed up the cycles and so on. So it will be in sequence or in time with whatever music somebody writes. I can't write music, so there you go. Now let's go back. Let's bring this back to 0. And here let's change this whole wavetable to use this low frequency oscillator, LFO, which is an oscillator like any other, just very low frequency. It's a half a beat cycle. In other words, as you can see here, the wave feeding into it, in half a beat it will go up and back down again. So it will go from 0 to this and then back down again. So let's try that. So as you can hopefully tell, it goes up to this kind of somewhat noisy tone and then back down to a clean tone. Let's hear that again. All right, so by modifying this wave, of course, I can make it do all kinds of things. Now, I can change that beats per minute factor to be quarter beat. So now I will do this thing twice. So at the end there you saw 1/8 of a beat cycle. Kind of interesting. Now let's try modifying this guy to 1 beat cycle, and let's move it up to let's say quarter, 25%. Play that. So it essentially moves up and back down again, because for each beat the note comes on for a half a beat, then it's quiet for half a beat. So it moves up and down again in the first half beat, and then this negative part here we don't hear. So let's go to a half beat, and now it will go up and then down and up again in a half beat cycle. Well, that's kind of cool. Let's try quarter. Now we have a 1960s sci-fi movie sound effect. Let's try that with the other LFO as well. Let's go to 116. Okay. Why not? 1/32 beat cycles. So it does 16 of these waves in each of the sound duration. Let's try that. Yes. Not very nice. So as you can see, we can do all kinds of weird stuff with this. Okay. Okay, so 2-beat cycle, that means it does all of this in one note, but it only does this one piece in one note and the other piece in the other note. So kind of interesting. Okay, so just to give you an idea of the kind of shenanigans you can do with this. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you.